All right, this is Randalicious, and welcome to the 65th Hexis podcast. Let's get it going. I'm Randalicious, and I'm the leader of Hexis.
I'm Bront. I'm a Bronze Star in Hexis.
Pawz, rank 1 gathering XP. Free to play.
I'm Kbuns, Smiling in Hexis.
I'm Baskie. I'm a general in Totus, and I've also been known to make a guide or two.
And I'm Dan S. I am a 3-banana in Solus and Smiley in Hexis.
Zoid +1. All right, so we got two new faces on the podcast today. Why don't you guys tell the viewers a little bit more about yourself?
So I'm Baskie. I started playing in 2013, and I've been playing pretty much ever since. I had about a year and a half gap in between, but I'm Max, and I've been focusing on completionist content for the last probably about another year and a half. So yeah, and I recently became a general in Totus a few weeks ago.
Myself, I'm very new to the game. I started in 2016. I was a devout CX boy for a long time, but I'm reformed now. Just maxed recently, and looking forward to 200 mil room craft.
Ooh.
All right, so this week they celebrated the 5 years of old school RuneScape, and apparently they had an event or some kind of I don't know, some kind of something. I honestly don't know too much about it. I just know that there's something. Have you participated in whatever event it is that they did? And 5 years ago when RuneScape came out, what were you doing? If you were playing, what were you doing? Just tell us a little bit. Hashtag my 5 years.
5 years ago, I wouldn't have been playing yet. Probably still just casually playing League with friends. Going into, I guess that would have been still in high school. So definitely changed quite a bit since then, but pretty fun. I haven't done the in-game event yet. I'll probably will after the current Hexis team competition is done, but I can't abandon my boys and go XP waste during that.
Yeah, 5 years ago, I don't know what I was doing, but I did play for 6 months, very, very casually, just doing whatever I felt like doing, unaware of efficiency. Didn't even really care about scaling either. But I did play. And then I came back to skill efficiently in 2015.
I have not done the events. Probably will do it. 5 years ago, I think I was probably AFKing Wills in RS3 free to play at Drainer Bank. I made an old school account just to kind of mess around on. I got 70 Hunter to make money, and that's pretty much it. So.
Yes, I picked it up maybe the second day. First or second day was out. I think I started on the second day. And so 5 years ago, I was probably working on some of the quests. But I did start playing in week 1, which was, I don't know. I'm very thankful to have been able to get on it when it came out. But man, I really didn't play all too much though. First few months, still kind of putting more of my time into Xbox playing Madden. But with the event, I haven't done it yet. I'll go there on one of my alts sometime this week. Check it out, see what it's like.
So I started day 1, and I basically just rushed quests. I knew they were good experience. So I did that, and after the first week, I was in the top 1,000 total level, I think. It's been pretty much downhill since then, but yeah, I had a lot of fun that first week, and I've kind of not been able to leave it since. And yeah, I have done the event. I did it earlier. I think it was fine for a birthday event. It wasn't anything huge, but it was nice to kind of do something and get a cool sword.
I haven't done the event. I'm probably not going to. 5 years ago, probably didn't see myself ever playing RuneScape again. Just probably playing League of Legends, Dota, or World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see myself playing. So like 5 years ago when I started, there's no fucking way I thought I'd still like never thought I'd still be playing. So it's really been a surprise, like looking at how much I've played and everything. I don't know, just never really expected it to kind of blow up as much as it did. But all right, over the last few weeks, so yeah, we did have a few weeks off in between podcasts. Really, kind of for that, it was pretty much like quality of life month, so there wasn't really a whole hell of a lot for us to talk about, and I kind of like having more of the quality discussions than have us just come out here for like 40 minutes or something like that, just not have enough shit to talk about. So one of the big things that happened over the last like month that we didn't do any podcasts was some changes to the rev caves. They were buffed and they were nerfed. In the news post that they came out, they said that the average player earned between 1.4 to 2 mil GP an hour from February 15th to February 19th. Some players got, like much higher, and some players got much lower, which, that's EVM. But they're also not allowing cannons down in the rev caves anymore, and it's just a huge mess. Twitter's upset. Everyone has their own opinion on the rev caves, but one thing that I do, to me, the thing that I thought that kind of highlighted the most that I want to talk about is that they said that they made their judgment on this based off the calculations that they got from February 15th to February 19th. We have in the like for me, we have in the past seen them gather data and all this shit for months, weeks, a ridiculous amount of time before they act on something. But for this, they got only a few days and acted on that. So to me, that's the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this. But what's your opinion on the Rev Caves, how they handled it, and how they are currently?
So personally, I'd much rather them take quick action rather than do like another NMZ where they wait for however many years. Like, if they can get enough data to where they think they can make a good decision in a week, then I'm fine with that. With regards to the nerf, I think it was needed. I mean, I have a bit of bias because the people I was talking to are not average players, so they were getting a lot more than 2 mil per hour. And also I've heard of people with like 2 ragging ults who would just like rag people in rev caves and make them hop. Like it was pretty hectic. I never actually went there, so I mean, take my opinion with a pinch of salt. But I think it did deserve a nerf. Like, you can make an awful lot of money there per hour.
I think that revs, I mean, it seemed to make all the PKers happy, which, I mean, that's not a bad thing for the community in terms of most of the clans and stuff. We're pretty happy in terms of some real wilderness rejuvenation stuff. It's still kind of based on PKers killing PVMers as opposed to PKers killing PKers, but like any kind of wilderness activity, there's going to be like an ecosystem of like bad PKers show up and then good PKers come up in their clan or whatever and kill the bad PKers or whatever. Kind of how Chins works, but now in multi. In terms of how it was nerfed, the old drop table was really good, and I think now it's a little more balanced, that if you are not getting interrupted, you're still going to make some decent money with pretty little requirements. But there's probably better options outside of the wilderness still, which I guess kind of messes with the risk versus reward thing, because you can kill instant Zora for 2 mil an hour or whatever.
I saw a video posted on YouTube. I didn't watch it, so I just want you to get an idea of where I'm drawing my source from. A YouTube video with a thumbnail, and I just read it. So I was seeing that it's like about some guy was using his main and his alt and duoing revs. He was getting 2.7 mil GP an hour there. I don't know if he was being interrupted or not, but if you're using 2 accounts to get that, I think that's I'm okay with that. I mean, that you'd get better at rune drags or something like that, I guess. But I don't know, with with how quickly they reacted, I really appreciate and respect that. You know, in the past, we've had them, collect this data on things, and it seems like they just get so much data before they finally make a decision on it. When there are so many thousands of players that play this game, and as a result, they get hundreds of thousands of hours of data every single day that they can assess and make changes on something based off that. So I like that they made a change based off of, a week of information, because I do think that a week of info with how many people are doing it is more than enough to make the decision that you think is best. And I mean, I'm not really talking more so about the caves. For me, it's just the decision, whether it was one way or the other. I just like that they were swift with it. But I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion about revs other than, like, I don't think that it should be ridiculous money per hour, but I do think that there should be PvP armors. There needs to be something in the rev caves that make it, like, there needs to be something unique to it that brings more people to it, because yeah, as you did say, there's there's better PVM GP per hour out there with no risk. So has to come with something unique. PvP armors, bring it.
Alright, so my sentiment, given the rates were like, some people were getting about 5 mil an hour, I don't think the best GP an hour should come from grinding some mob in the wilderness. It's just not very interesting. In terms of the response time, I'm really glad they did it quickly rather than waiting a long time like they did with Zora and probably Knights. But I never actually went there on myself. I was considering doing it on an alt, but I'd never do it on my main.
So what's the GP per hour now?
I've seen around 800k to 1.2. It's like the general sentiment, which is really, really like not worth it at all.
That's lower than what was polled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pulled at 2 mil.
Yeah, 2 mil an
Nice.
hour. It was polled to be 2 mil an hour if uninterrupted.
Yeah,
was
so
the language that they used.
I think we saw a swift reaction. I think we could see a swift reaction to it. So it's possible that it just gets tuned up again to try to find a sweet spot. There's a lot of games that do like pretty frequent balance changes that still work fine. So
Kind of like how they did with Vorkath. Like,
yeah,
they adjusted that up and down quite a bit.
yeah. I think that the same could be done here. I think that there's a happy medium, and right now they're pretty underpowered.
Yeah, but you can't really. The other thing they did was they took numbers from people who sucked at it. You can't do that either.
Yeah.
Like
you
you can't
just run up with a magic short bow and D-hides. You
you
shouldn't
can't just
count
you
as a
can't
data
balance around somebody being shit.
point. Yeah. Or 70 range or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's just not a...
One other thing about like the Rev Caves is that it saw most PK clans having like run-ins there. Deep Willed was very dead. During this time I was doing a lot of Callisto, and it was only small teams, and it was like really comfy doing Callisto. I didn't see anyone. And like a couple of friends of mine are in PK clans, and they were saying like they miss PKing in Deep Wildy because everything's in Rev Caves, and Rev Caves kind of sucks for kind of big clan fights, according to them. Like, that's not coming from me. So with this change, it will be nice to see kind of Deep World becoming a bit more active again, but I think they may have gone a bit under on the balancing. I think it should be tuned up a little bit.
And if it is underwhelming, I think that they should, if it's less than the 2 mil an hour uninterrupted that was pulled, then I think they should absolutely adjust it. I think that a lot of times, I don't know, I just kind of get this feel that when they change something, they're almost admitting that they're wrong, and I don't know, that's just kind of the vibe that I get. And I mean, if something isn't balanced, it's never too late to change it to make it better. Yeah, I wonder what it's like at Black Chins right now.
Yeah, but it's really busy.
It's not great. I was there on my ult yesterday, and I was getting about 20 chins before I was getting hit. TB'd straight away.
Yeah, it's going to be bad for a little while, but I guess we're probably going to discuss the reason why in a later question.
More on that to come. Okay, so with the revs, something that they did was that they replaced the 100 times alchable item drop with a statuette drop to try to make it less artificial, they say. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Well, I guess I do like that they changed it. I hated that you could just get 100 dragon plate leg drops. Like, what were they thinking? But then again, that whole wilderness rejuvenation update was fucked, to be honest. So I am glad they changed it, but they didn't solve the problem. The problem was you're just getting cash for cash's sake. There was no kind of actual content there. I mean, I guess that we voted no for on everything, but just give it a bit more time, find something else that people want. So I don't think they solved the problem by making the statuettes. I think they just like masked it and kind of stopped people complaining.
Yeah, I don't think these statuettes make it any less artificial. It's still raw GP coming in the game, which is bad. If they changed the rev drop tables and made it more like supplies, it'd be cool with them getting another buff. But I see the statuettes as maybe being a placeholder for future uniques, which could be cool, like PvP armors.
Do you think PvP? Let me just quickly jump in. Do you think PvP armors would pass a poll if they were like? I don't know what they failed at.
Probably not.
Do you know what percentage did they get? If you have any idea, anyone got a number for it? I think that they would do much better than what they did before. But
I don't think it was close.
was it like 60 or what?
I honestly have no idea.
Someone in
It was a while ago.
All right, they're trying to see if the chat has anything, but no, I don't know. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty close. I with that, I think that like if they keep and some people joked about it being an agenda of that they're gonna come out like they came out with these 100-time alch item drops just to kind of be a placeholder for PvP armors, and that they're gonna eventually do it. I don't know. I kind of buy into that because I do think that it would be a much better drop than these statuettes and these rune items. Question I have, like, is that statuette automatically lost on death? Because like, wouldn't
Get better.
I think you keep it.
Because like, if you get like 100 rune plate legs, or I'm sorry, if you get 100 dragon plate legs and you die, you're losing at least 97 of those. Whereas if you get a statuette, you're essentially keeping all of it. I think that's a little fucked.
I thought you were always skilled.
I'm pretty sure you auto drop it. Like I think it.
Oh, my bad.
I think I'll look it up.
I mean, I gotta be honest, I really don't know too much about it, so I am talking quite ignorantly here, but I hope that thing is automatically dropped on death.
Yeah, chat's saying that it is.
Alright, well that's good. Good on them with that balancing. Alright, I take that all back. Sorry, go ahead, who was next? Pawz, you're up.
Yeah, I think they should adjust the drop table because, like everybody said previously, it's just raw GP coming into the game either way. So there was really no point in that. I guess it probably affected the price of the rune items, but who cares? I really, all joking aside, I really think they should add like magic seeds or some other skilling supplies that's overly expensive to these things to buff the overall GP per hour, since it was pulled at 2 mil. So
yeah, the root cause of the problem is shoehorning content without drops, and when it's not ready, if they would stop doing that, then we wouldn't have these issues. And shoehorning in content before the fucking graphics are even made. That's pretty bad too.
Hey man, we got that 6-week Major Arena 2 beta.
Gothic's Demons, are you having a laugh?
I'd like to see a switch from weekly updates to when they're ready updates.
Real. Alright. Another thing that happened in the last month was the mobile beta was announced. One thing that wasn't announced, however, was that the invites were going out to Android-only users. And to provide an update, we still have no real idea when mobile will officially be released. My understanding of it was that the beta would be coming out, and shortly after, and by shortly, I'm talking like by the end of February, I honestly expected mobile to be out and available for every single person. But, what is your opinion on how they handled the Android-only beta announcement?
Well, I have an Android, and I got the beta, so I thought they handled it pretty well.
All right, to go on that, tell us about your beta experience. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else on here got it, so tell us as much as you can. Floor is yours.
Not too good. I did some zone testing because I don't really see myself doing anything other than zone and RD course on it. And at least when I was on 4G, I got disconnected after 1 minute and didn't have the 20-minute logout timer. So that's pretty fucking annoying. You're not going to be able to zone. RD course worked pretty well, but other than that, you can't really drop anything. Like, dropping one item takes about 4 ticks, so it's not really worth doing anything like remotely intensive. I think drop all might be necessary for future. Yeah, I know that sounds ridiculous. Like, drop all of one unique item.
Or just a tap to drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the suggestions on the forum, like there's a forum specifically for the beta testers, and a lot of them are for something shift drop-esque, that you can like toggle something and then left click is just drop. So you could AFK Teaks in peace or whatever.
Alright, I really couldn't be much more disappointed with how they handled doing it. Whether or not that it was going to be Android only, iPhone only, or whatever it was that they were going to do, I think that they failed miserably in the severe lack of communication with the community, with it being announced 2 minutes before the invites were sent out that it's going to be for Android only. I'm very upset. Yeah, I am an iPhone boy. So that obviously is part of the problem. But even if it came out for iPhone, I'd still have some problems with it, because I think that the community should have been aware of it, weeks in advance. They could have said, I put out a tweet, and I wish I would have actually gathered it for this. Like, they could have easily put out a news post a couple weeks ago, couple days ago even, saying that the first beta was going to be coming out this week, and that the first people to test it were going to be Android only, and then at an undetermined time after that, then we'll be rolling out other betas for iPhone. Something like that, very short, less than 2 paragraphs, and the community would know what to expect, instead of like how many thousands of people woke up on what we thought was mobile day, just to find out that, oh no, we have an iPhone, never had a chance in the first place. Like, that's some disappointing ass shit. I actually got unlimited data on my fucking phone because I was expecting to.
There was a limited amount anyway. Even if it was iPhone, you didn't know you were getting in.
I didn't, but I'm an entitled motherfucker who thought that I was gonna be getting it.
Oh.
And I spent $100 to change my phone plan to unlimited, and now I pay a couple extra bucks a month now. So I I am mad for personal reasons, but professionally, there was a really bad communication on their part. I feel.
Yeah,
It
what
should
was
have
the
been.
process for getting an invite? Like,
So when you
Apply back
signed
in
up,
like
invited.
August with what phone you
yeah,
have.
yeah,
No, I
6
mean
months
like,
ago.
how is it completely random or what?
I'm
We
sure they
don't
had
know.
metrics like they want to, but it's more about the spread of like hardware and stuff as opposed to like your total level. You know what I mean?
And
Like
they
they've had
obviously gave it to
different
certain
models and
streamers
stuff.
and stuff as well. Like
Oh, yeah.
MMORPG definitely got his because he's like a big streamer.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to give them to your key influencers to like get people excited, but like beyond that, it's um
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. They definitely should try to give it as
that's
much publicity as possible. It just
yeah,
makes sense.
100%. But beyond that, yeah, they're looking at like what phone you have and stuff, not your ep.
Yeah.
It should have been more transparent that it was going to be an Android-only beta. I think it was
Yeah,
kind
they
of
should
unfair.
have. They should have said that, but at the same time, you shouldn't have an iPhone. So, I mean, it's not a huge problem.
Shouldn't have.
You know, I like.
So
I'm looking to maybe get a Razer phone. And I was looking at that back in like November when that thing first came out, and now like we have no idea when mobile's actually coming out. I'm gonna make my decision then if I hop off the iPhone train. Been on it like 8 years. Might finally be my time. Whichever one runs it more smoothly, the Razer phone or iPhone. We'll see.
Well, I don't think you'll have any problems with performance on RuneScape between an iPhone and a Razer phone, to be completely honest.
Was it laggy at all when you were playing?
No, I was getting perfect frames on Galaxy S7.
Oh, okay.
Maybe the Razer phone will let you play alts.
Maybe.
That's what the iPad's for. What you mean?
yeah, I think that it was done somewhat poorly in terms of the communication because like it was only ever like it wasn't even announced ever. It was just in a reply to someone that Sween mentioned that oh yeah, it's Android only. So like I mean it was never official. I mean it was official, but like it was never something that was just publicly told to everyone. It was just a random tweet that someone found. So like the communication could have been better, but having an Android only test environment makes sense. Like you want to limit your exposure to bugs and stuff before a full release. But yeah, it's more of a communications perspective as opposed to like a development perspective that it was done poorly.
Yeah, like
So
go ahead.
sorry. Yeah, I agree with you guys. Like it was badly handled with the communication. But what really got me was how offended Stone was at the backlash. Like he didn't expect this at all. I think Sween used the term bamboozled, which I thought was funny. But yeah, I just thought that was the most unprofessional part. Like, just admit you make the mistake, move on, don't make it in the future. But no, you have to take to Twitter and act all like shocked that this has happened. It did make for a really entertaining Twitter day though, so I'm kind of thankful for that.
I just wish they could actually deliver on release dates that they give. I mean, this one was a little bit more general than the previous early August, but still, what's the point of telling us winter if it's going to come out in like spring?
The reason
What?
they say these early dates is because they want to hype with quick releases, but then people get disappointed, so it just backfires.
Well, and it's like some people say stick to your deadlines. Some people say release it when it's ready. You can't make both happy.
Well, you can because you can set a realistic deadline instead of lying.
I don't know. I think they just want to set aggressive deadlines, though. Like as a business, setting lazy deadlines just looks bad.
Well, you don't have to set lazy. You can just set actually possible. Like they set deadline. They set a 6-month deadline for something that can't be done within a year. That's just idiotic.
There's definitely a limit to how optimistic you can be with your deadlines.
Yeah, that's true.
And you give your company a bad rep too when you fail the deadline with every update you ever make.
Very true.
what were your a question for you guy? What was your like when you woke up? You went to bed on Mobile Eve. What were you expecting when you woke up, and how were you expecting the day to go?
Mobile Eve.
I didn't really care. I don't plan on playing very much mobile. I just phone zone. So I don't know.
No, like for
Yeah.
me, like I was expecting, hey man, I'm gonna get that invite, gonna be playing, and like I mean, I'm sure part of it's me being very entitled, or at least thinking I should be getting everything in the world. But at the same time, like I think that part of that is attributed to bad communication because, like, for me, like I thought, all right, I'm getting this mobile invite, and I will be playing mobile until, or I'm sorry, I will be playing the beta until everybody else gets the full release, which will be very soon. But it seems like that's nowhere near the case.
There's not a whole lot that mobile would help me with, so I wasn't too invested in it. But I'm not going to lie, if I didn't think I was going to get an invite, like I did think I'd get one. But realistically, I probably wasn't, so I wasn't too invested in it.
I don't see myself switching off from remote desktop anyways, since it's just more convenient. Don't really see myself using it anywhere anyways. Didn't really care either way.
It was shocking to me. All right, so let's get into the quality of life stuff that happened over the last month. Kind of the big things. First, let's start it off with the PvP quality of life devlog. Now, none of us are PKers, but they have 15 like quality of life things on here. What did you think about them? Was there anything on there that you thought was noteworthy?
Yeah, there's some big changes to PvP. I don't know how much of a discussion we're gonna have, but I've been known to run out in the wild with the pepperoni boys on occasion. So some things have changed somewhat drastically for us. Pre-TBing is on its way out, which is like your teammate would half you. So if you got caught by a team, you had a much higher chance of living. TBs now drop on logout. Or
did that pass? I thought that
passed. Did it not
I
pass?
think it did pass.
I think Money did a big push, so I'm not sure what actually happened.
Yeah, Monty did a big push, but then I think Weed Blazers responded with a much more substantial one. But I don't know. I'd have to check the poll.
It didn't pass.
It didn't pass. Cool.
I
so
think that
was on it. That potentially would have been big. I guess it's not. In this poll was also increasing zoom out, which has potential. It's big for PVM. And I guess if you wanted to not use the OS Buddy stuff or whatever, it already, like, just more zoom out has potential for being a cool thing. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good overall as a poll, but I'm glad that pre-TBing is still in because otherwise we'd die a lot.
So I'm not so happy about this TB and logout thing. So when I'm doing wildy bosses, I'll like sometimes use an alt to either lure a boss or just dolo. And a lot of the times a team will come in, they just TB my alt, I run off, come back, and then I like have to sit there for 5 minutes and wait for this TB to log out to run out before I can bank. It's just kind of annoying, just like standing around not being able to do anything. But yeah, that's not from like a PKing point of view. That's more just like me being selfish. I think with PKing, I don't like pre-TBing. I think it's like finding a loophole in a very kind of legitimate PKing thing, which is a teleblock. It kind of stops people taking such huge items out. Like you see, it's kind of like Abyss streaming with full ancestral and claws and stuff, and just being a huge whale basically. And I think with pre-TBing, it kind of helps people like him do that without repercussions. So
I don't think he pre-TBs that often.
I don't know about him, for example. I'm just saying,
People out in that gear are almost always pre-TBing. Specifically, I don't think Abyss does, but yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that you kind of need to suck it up and tank that hearth and all that full. And if you can't, then you should probably, I don't know, degrade your gear a bit so you don't mind dying.
Yeah, let me butt in real quick here. 200 mil hunter, never died once. Full teams. If you die to a team, you're trash. I get full TB'd. No one can kill
What do
me.
you mean? That was before Claws, Randy. It's a different game. That's before Claws. That's before Ballista.
Same shit, different day.
It's not. It's not the same shit, dude. You're way more likely to die now.
You can anticipate claws. It's easy. You just need to look for the signs.
I'm not saying that. Like, it used to be way more hunter favored than PKer, and it's just less so now. I still think that the hunter is favored, but
professional tanker, by the way.
Yeah, good luck tanking to ditch when you have people alternating specs and specking you with claws like 16 times.
Yeah.
You're not going to survive that.
I eat that.
Well, I think the biggest pull that, like the most controversial one, was the Granite Mall. I think they were like going to completely remove it, or not remove it, but like ruin the spec. Like make it a tick later or something. I don't really know because I don't PK. I think doing that would kind of just ruin all the 50 attack peers. It would take, I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it because the peer community is like completely dominated by rushers nowadays. So that's not too interesting, I imagine. I don't know. It got like 50% yes, 50% no.
So there's a few things on here. I got 4 points that I want to make, or 4 topics. So the pre-TB, I don't think that should exist whatsoever. That's some dumb shit. I think that it's fundamentally flawed in every single way, and that needs to be changed. It's an integrity issue. The spell book thing being changed based on what spell book you are on. I do not like this. I just don't. Iron Men getting fake XP drops, similar to us getting 200 mil XP drops. I don't like that because I don't know why the 200 mil XP drops have not yet been addressed. Hold on, I'm right here on a fucking task right now. Let me just take a picture. I'm gonna toss the link in the chat. Like, look at all of these. Like, these XP drops here are absolutely disgusting. And like that's supposed to be shared. Like, it's supposed to all be on one line, not telling me for every single monster that I'm attacking. I don't like this because I want them to address the problems with the fake XP drops that we get with 200 mil right now. And my problem is like it's not even toggleable. Like, I'd rather not have it
let
at
me
all.
toggle that.
They said they're going to toggle it, and they said that they're going to group. So I
Really?
think like both of those are in the pipeline.
When did they say that?
It was like it was the day after that they got released.
Shit,
Someone
must have
said
missed
that like there's a toggle on its way, but we figured we'd release minimal viable product or whatever.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
And then the last thing I want to bring up, Kendall, I need you to please find the picture of Bront saying anyone that dies at Black Chins is a fucking idiot, and then him asking for an Ellie loan. Oh shit!
Yeah, that doesn't mean I died, by the way.
You did die, didn't you? You told me you lost Furies one time. Come on, man.
No, he didn't. He didn't actually die that time, but it's still
Defamation.
make for a funny fucking picture.
Oh, and then you can't release Black Chins anymore. That's big.
Oh shit! Did that pass?
Yeah, it's in the game. That's why there's a lot more PKers at Black Chins right now. But I think it's a good update. Makes a lot of sense.
But it was releasing by proxy, right? You had to use a looting bag or something. Because they fixed releasing before, right?
Nope. You can just
They
hold
never
on.
fixed
Before
it.
last week, you could just right-click release.
Oh, wow. I thought they fixed that ages ago.
Didn't you have
No,
to?
no, that's what
you
you
had to
think,
press 1
but-
though.
Oh, and press 1. Sorry, Bront.
Yeah, so if you were being attacked by something fast, it was really hard.
Yeah, but
I see.
And eating, like switching prayers, just wasn't worth it.
Just saw fucking Chicklum's picture. Oh,
Yeah, of course Jicklum has it.
hey, that incredible
In the old
response
Bront
time.
folder.
Incredible. I don't know. I do think that like balance wise, it probably is good that they made chins like black chins not releasable. So I'm okay. I'm okay with that for sure. But all right, let's move on to the PVM quality of life poll. So there's quite a bit of stuff on here. Just talk about some of the ones that you think need to be most highlighted and what your opinion on some of the major ones on here are.
Well, I don't know. A lot of these don't really apply to me, except for the Trident one's kind of insane. The 20,000 charges on the Toxic Trident. It's going to be really nice for Zolrahold. Other than that, I don't really care about any of these. The Staff of Light looks really ugly. That's my only comment about that.
So I've got a few, so I'll try and rattle them off and give a short opinion about each one.
Take as much time as you want.
So the Champions Challenge XP lamps, so basically they were, after you get a Champion Scroll and you kill the boss, you get a little bit of XP, right? But that's like not the reason that you do Champion Scrolls. But they're trying to give you a lamp which gives you 10 times that XP, which still wouldn't be much, but it would be something. And it's quite annoying because it's like they just keep on trying to push this kind of niche content, which like people like me and people that are in TOTUS do just for fun. And they're trying to push it to normies and your average player, which is just like, it just kind of, it's this road of devaluing that we saw with the Max Cape. And I'll come back onto it later, but it's kind of just, it doesn't need it. Just stop it. Just stop trying to like add these little bonuses to this niche content. If people want to do it, they can. The joy of getting a Champion Scroll is enough. Like, it's quite an exciting thing. It's quite rare. Anyway, that's that on that. Trident of the Swamp. I think it's a really cool idea. I've been trying to get it for a while, tweeted Ash a few times. But I think the way they implemented it was lazy. It could have easily come from a quest. I feel like they've got into a habit of just giving out content for free without actually like tying it to anything. So it's just kind of like content, good content that they keep on asking for every time they want to add something new, like a new boss. But they just give out this great stuff just off the fly in a weekly update with no lore behind it. Just like, oh, give this person 10 trident. No, give this person 10 tentacles and they'll fix your stuff. I think that's dumb. The Dark Core rework, that's more of just a pet peeve for me. I don't like pets that are just smaller versions of the boss. I quite like the more unique ones, and the fact that I'm going to see less of those kind of disappoints me a little bit, but it's fine. Chumpy bird hunting, similar to the Champion Scrolls. They're just making it easier, and they're removing... It was a bit of a bitch to do before, but that's kind of what made it fun and engaging, and kind of the rewards that people that only wanted them would go for, like the Chumpy hats, are kind of less interesting now, which is a shame, I think. Princess made a big post on Twitter, which got some traction, basically calling out the mods for changing it. So if you want more context, go look at that. It can explain it better than I can. But yeah, just a few things that I'm not very happy about. The rest was fine, I guess.
So I didn't even realize this, but the post 200 mil XP drops was actually a PVM QOL update. Didn't know that.
Yep.
But I like that because like if I wanted to test out some, I don't know, fishing method in the future, like who knows if that'll become a thing, but then I would be able to see like how it's working and everything, and that would be really nice. But one other thing, I kind of wish that you could like see how much XP you've gained, kind of like.
Oh, like post 200 mil, theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically, because like if I wanted to do an hour of something in the future, in like fishing or whatever, just to see what it would be, then I could do that. But you can't, so.
Well, you could ask OS Buddy to develop a XP tracking feature post 200 mil.
True.
I suggested that with OS Buddy that like with your GE favorites that you have on there, to where like they send you an email if an item on there hits if pretty much you set up a custom email alert for if an item hits a certain price, whether it rises up enough or drops down enough. I think that'd be a cool feature for them to add. But to actually talk about the PVM quality of life poll here, so the Trident thing is not quality of life. Had no business being in there. Saradomin Light thing, no business being in there. Not quality of life. Those things really make me upset because they had a pretty damn big impact on the economy for those items that are involved in all of that, and that just simply is not quality of life. Couple things
Didn't they
that
rebrand QOL to like QOL and low effort or something?
I'm stubborn.
I
I'm
don't.
still calling it quality of life.
I mean, but like what they call it is kind of, I don't know.
I don't think that it should have came in during this kind of batch of things. I don't
Yeah, I
hate
think
that.
there's
I don't.
legitimate reasons to dislike the updates. I just don't know if like just saying, oh, well, it's not QOL. It's like, well, they're not claiming it is. So I don't think.
They only changed what they called it after they got so much hate for it not being QRL. It's like,
yeah,
okay.
this is how many years that we've had this month, and they're finally saying, oh well, maybe it's not QOL, but that's exactly what they're intending it to be.
Thank you for that. A couple things though that I do really like is the tunnel peak in the Monkey Madness 2 caves. That's a big happy for that. And the entrance to the grotesque guardians being changed to fit better into its environment. It's like, holy shit, it's been 4 months. That's incredible. I'm very happy that it's finally coming out. I'm kind of mad that it got pulled. Should have just happened in the first. I don't know to this day, and I don't want to know who it was that designed the entrance and decided, yeah, this is what we're going with. The new entrance is far better than that old eyesore that was up there. So very happy about that. The other things that are on there, I don't really have too much to say about, but with this, let's move on to the next week though, which was the skilling quality of life dev blog. What are some of the big things on here? There's over 30 questions on it. Just talk about a couple of them that stuck out to you.
Did the con one pass?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's definitely the worst one of them all. It's just, should we remove one chat option from construction for no reason? That's pretty dumb.
No more spacebar, I think.
Yeah, so that is pretty hard to understand why they even asked that. But other than that, it's very uninteresting, and they also didn't take enough time to gather questions. It was like, I saw people asking a bunch of questions on Twitter, and they're just like, nope, we don't take suggestions anymore. We're done with the skilling quality of life. So yeah, that was pretty stupid. Like, all the things that people actually wanted to happen, the biggest ones, they didn't happen.
Yep.
So yeah, really horrible. It sucked.
I will say that, yeah, it was pretty underwhelming in general. A couple things that I didn't like was the like 50 to 70k XP per hour buff to construction for no fucking reason. That's just bad. Some things though that I did like is the pyramid plunder, being able to use noted artifacts. It is a very small buff, but I'm okay with that. I think that that's kind of more towards the quality of life type thing. The right click start minigame, not having to still go through the chat with the mummy. I think that that's pretty fine. And really, all the other things. Sorry. The most important update is you are no longer going to be getting hit with the woos in your chat box when you're on a Slayer task and you finish it. So that's gonna be great, man.
Did they change it to apply to all the different ones?
Yeah, the wording that they initially had only said for the cave, and then I messaged Aiza, trying to with the unclear wording, making sure that it applied to everything else that gets those messages, and he confirmed that that's what it is. So yeah,
All right, that's really nice.
that's the thing that I'm most happy about. And then we got this hunter trap one that we're going to talk about all together next.
I think I saw Zulu post about this on Twitter. I see it actually made it into the poll, which is good. The blast furnace gold bar thing. I don't see why that wasn't there originally, but also it seems like they added a lot of shift click drop stuff. That's not good. Coal bag, herb sack, gem bag. Okay, well, I guess it doesn't really matter too much, but what is this? Does this cannon thing actually have a use, like being able to remove cannonballs from a cannon?
To aggro and
something
then,
with like Spider Boss, I think. I don't know.
well, if you're an Iron Man and doing dags, you want to aggro them and then stop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I assume you would want to do that.
I can't see a reason why you'd want to stop it for Venenatus.
Okay. I thought I saw I don't know who, a PVMer on Twitter make some kind of use case about that, but I might be mistaken.
Well, there's a lot smarter PVMers than me out there, so that might be the case.
I saw people before talking about it being useful for Corp, and I see someone in the chat saying it there. So it does have its uses for people.
Right.
Definitely a strange one to read at first, but if somebody wants it, I don't really care. Two things that aren't on here that I thought would.
More on that.
What?
More on that to come with the ones that weren't added.
Oh, okay, never mind. I don't have too many comments that weren't already said. I was just going to talk about shit that I want, so never mind.
Coming soon.
So the skilling ones, I don't skill an awful lot, so I don't have too much to say, but I think getting rid of the Pyramid Plunder dialogue, I don't like it, because to me it's just getting rid of a nice bit of NPC interaction. I always kind of liked the Guardian's personality, and it never annoyed me when I was doing it, but I can see that if you're doing 200 mil, it could feel a bit kind of
It's
clunky.
the same as the con, right? It's
just removing
artificially remove one step of something. Why?
Yeah, for no real reason. I'm not sure who was getting overly annoyed at that, or even thought, oh, let's get rid of it. It just makes it feel more, I don't want to say artificial, but just kind of like grindy. It's getting rid of nice chat parts. I don't know.
Yeah. What the PP updates felt like to me was like they were like, we can't remove the hourglass. Let's give them something else. Like, let's hopefully, if we let them use noted ones and we skip a dialogue, they won't bother us about this actual QOL update. I don't know.
So yeah, there was that. And then I liked that they made Make All consistent across the few things that they missed off. I'm not a huge fan of Make All, but I think if we are going to have it, it should be on everything. And yeah, that's pretty much all of my comments, all the things that stood out to me.
There were two polls that really stuck out to me. One being Blast Mine. It's really overcrowded right now, so I think new areas to do it would be really, really nice.
Mention that.
And the other one being the jewelry. Can we talk about the new models for unenchanted jewelry?
Oh my god.
Oh, dude.
It's like maple logs back in the day. They kind of just fucked them up because people were buying maples instead of yews. So they made them real ugly.
I opened an Elite Clue yesterday that had a load of Dragon Sword jewelry, and I was shocked. What is this in my Clue reward?
Yeah, with that, I think that they should move more in the direction of like how they have with like your uncharged glory and your uncharged like ring of wealth, kind of having it. That's kind of how they should go for the uncharged jewelry or the unenchanted jewelry.
Other than that, there wasn't really much that stuck out to me in the skilling QOL. It's not much that applies to me. It seems most of the updates are pretty good, though.
One that I saw was getting a lot of buzz on Twitter and is getting talked about. So we're gonna just take a moment to talk about this specifically. Is the new quality of light that's being added on to Hunter for resetting and laying traps. Posted a tweet in the chat, and you guys can kind of watch the video of the change. What do you think about this? What's your opinion?
So first, my opinion. I don't like it. I think it's lazy. I don't think it was needed. And I am of the opinion that if you don't like a skill, a lot of people don't like Hunter. If you don't like a skill, don't do it. You never have to do Hunter in your life. There's so much other content for you to enjoy. Just stay away from the stuff you don't like. I mean, that might not be the best opinion with regards to game design, but that's mine. Having said that, I have been doing chins on my ult for the last few days, and it's really nice and comfortable. I never really used an ult to make money before, but I think I'm going to start because it's a nice rhythm. It's easy. It's a bit brainless. I can do it on the side. So that's pretty much my opinion. I don't like it, but I'm going to do it anyway.
So is it much easier to do on an alt now then?
Yeah, so it's slower. So no matter where you are, you right click reset, it moves on top of the trap, picks it up, waits about a tick, then puts it back down again. And that's whether you've caught something or not caught something.
Okay, so I talked to Wolf about this before it even came up as something that they wanted to. Like, I was part of like the brainstorming thing with it, and I talked about how I don't have a problem with this being added so long as it is a tick slower than if one were to, like even if you were to just if you like no tick manipulation, like pick it up, drop it down. I don't really have an issue with this in that it's slower than the other methods. It to me, it's fine. I don't know why so many people were so upset about this though.
I think it's really dumb. It's really difficult to argue that this is even quality of life. It just provides a hunter method for people that are lazy, which is unfortunate because hunter is a great skill. Another issue I have with it is that it makes walk here not the second drop down, so you can't really. It's an inconvenience. So it's hard to one tick sun traps.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what to say. It's kind of like feels like it's an update catered to mobile before mobile's even out, which is pretty bad. So I don't know. Bad sign.
Yeah, I definitely think it feels very mobile enabling to me. I also agree with Fico, I think it's Fico, who's a Solace member, who says that it just seems like there's a justification of if it doesn't make something faster, then you can make it as easy as you want, which is ridiculous. Like that shouldn't be the case at all. It seems to inconvenience people who are putting in effort in exchange for making quality of life updates for people who are lazy, not putting in as much effort, which seems pretty counterintuitive to me.
And the update, it doesn't even make sense either, because it's not like before you would pick up the trap and you would click a different one in your inventory, right? That's how you did the lazy hunter before.
Yeah.
So this doesn't even make any sense. Like this is just a changed method.
Yep. Honey's in the chat. Hello, Fico.
It's cut down the clicks to 99 by quite a lot.
Okay.
Especially if you just spam clicked your second trap as you picked up the first one, like I did.
Yeah, soon we'll see press 1 to put down a trap.
Action bar. Shutters.
Action bar for Herbtar. 1, 2.
Alright, so the last week of quality of life is advertised as mini games and other. I just want to quickly just address one thing. They pulled moving the total level box up slightly. Is this a ridiculous question? Why?
Nope.
Also, why was the green pixel pulled however fucking long ago
Yeah,
when
it's
that
like
was?
very similar to that. Yeah.
Also, like, did you even notice that the total level box was not aligned perfectly?
Yes.
On top of all that, what's your take on the rest of the blog?
So with the total level box, again, it's just like, it's a nice old school thing. It's like, just let it be. The total level box is the same size. I like that it's a bit bigger. It doesn't need to be made smaller just to kind of satiate people's autism. I don't know. That's my opinion. I think the achievement diary interface is ugly.
Yes.
Um, I respect that Kieran tried to make it more appealing, but he's not a graphic designer. And it just looks clunky and big. And I never had any problems checking how many things I've done. I kind of just used my brain and clicked the interface.
I think it
Never
looks
thought
harder
twice
to
about it.
navigate. It looks more confusing now than before.
It's very busy. Where I mean,
Yes.
I mean, red, yellow, green doesn't give you a ton of information, but like now it's like, Jesus, this is a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's big. I'm not that against it. I won't be sad that it comes in. I never click on mine anymore because I've done them all, so I never even see it. And I like that they've put in hints for the music tracks. When I was going for my music cape, I kind of had to look up on the wiki, which I like that it's in game now. It's a lot more kind of intuitive. You just right click, where is it? And it's not as if the names for the tracks give you any hint of where they are. And as far as things I'd like to wait, is that another question? Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I guess
yeah.
it's kind of,
That's the next question.
yeah, that's pretty much it for mini games. I think it was a pretty kind of sparse update. I know there's some people in BA who do a lot of BA that want certain things that wasn't addressed.
Yeah, I was about to talk about that.
So yeah, I'll let you expand on it because I don't really know much.
Yeah, so I used to play a decent amount of BA. I don't as much anymore, but the meta for attacker was changed. I guess this was a while ago. This wasn't in this update. But just so people know what's going on with it, it used to be you used a combination of chins and blowpipe in order to get attacker records. Very intense method with like dragging stuff over and then switching to chins and, you know, doing things very precisely. Now attacker meta is you left click with a magic short bow equipped, and then you wait for the thing to die. Like that's as intense as it gets now because they've removed or changed how the ammunition system works. They didn't give capes or pets. You can't have either of those in there still, which people were somewhat upset about. Capes, I don't really care. I mean, it's been that way in BA that you have to wear your icon or whatever. So no real reason to add capes, but I don't know, bringing a pet in there seems like decent quality of life. That's about it for that poll. I don't really play too many mini games.
Bront.
Yeah, I don't play any minigames, so I probably should have deleted my name from that.
Probably should have.
Well, I play Nightmare Zone, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go.
But yeah, I don't need many updates to that, apart from deleting it.
Yeah, I don't play any mini games either, but I see there's a couple Skull
Other
Scepter questions on here.
Yeah, talk about that, free to play boy.
These seem to just be like actually quality of life stuff with it, but somebody told me recently that they've been talking about it on the Q&A a little bit about making the pieces buyable, like you can sell them and whatnot in the GE, which if that would happen, then it would make free to play is solo rune crafting like 45k an hour if they did that. So I mean, I wouldn't mind that too much, but
Jesus.
it's a pretty huge buff.
What's the current rate for solo?
Solo Solo, the max you can get is like 28k. I did a 27k hour once, but I think you can get 28k.
So that'd be a substantial boost to solo.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The things I want to talk about most is the achievement diary thing looks pretty ugly. I do really like the music hint thing. I wonder how much of a hint they are going to give. Kind of what the hint will be, because obviously it's not going to say go here and do this. It'll just be something. I don't know. How many tracks are there in total?
A lot.
Many.
Ugh, imagine how bad of a job it's going to be.
Yeah.
Writing the
Sticking
hints.
into it on that.
Yeah, writing a hint for every single one of them. Ugh. But something on here that's not really that hasn't been talked about is that they're buffing the tiers of Guthix. They are going to be making it to where streams last. There's going to be less randomness to it, so you can sit at one of the tiers for a much longer period of time, so you're going to be able to get much more tiers from it. I don't really know if I like that. It's a once a week thing, and I'm fine with it being the way that it is. I don't think that it needs to be changed at all.
I kind of like how it is now. It feels like really clunky, how old school should feel in a way.
Yeah, I like it.
That place is aggravating, but I mean, it's kind of fun. Like I only ever did it, I think, for diary, but
Yeah,
it was interesting trying to.
I was really sweating hard trying to get 100 points for the diary a couple years back. I know a handful of friends I had who they didn't get 100, so they had to
and
wait
then
another week.
you used to have to wait a full week in order to complete the diary. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny.
Fucking incredible. I really like the Tears of Guthix thing. It's one of the few things where like you actually have to be paying attention to what you're doing, and as he says in the chat here, like it's kind of skill based. There is a little bit of that to it, so I like that. I like how it is. I don't really want any changes being done to it. All right, so big one though. Let's talk about some of the quality of life that wasn't included on this that you still do want to see.
So pretty early on in like asking for suggestions, Sadpeb from Omnia suggested removal or toggle of the scroll bar in Resizable, the transparent one, which would enable you could have the chat box up during skills where currently you close it. Fishing, mining, hunter, stuff like that. Which would be really, really nice. I didn't even consider this like an option before he suggested it, and I really, really like the idea. Then we were kind of blown off for a while before Wolf proudly announced after baiting us that it was engine work and therefore can't be done. And then Tom H told us that it wasn't engine work, and then we haven't heard anything about it since, which is really aggravating.
I don't trust Tom H.
What?
Was it Tom H or was it Atlas?
Titan. Atlas. It was the engine guy. He works on engine. I just forgot his name. But
so now we have to wonder how many questions have they denied and lied about.
Yeah. Oh, because I mean, Wolf clearly just didn't know, which is okay if he hadn't handled it so poorly. Like if he had just been like, "Yeah, sorry guys, my bad. I'll see what the level of effort is." But he was pretty unprofessional in that thread, I thought.
And also,
and then got proven wrong on top of that, which isn't a good combo. So I would like to see that QOL revisited.
Even people with no experience can you can get to the conclusion that it's not engine work pretty easily. It's a texture. Yeah. I don't know.
And they haven't come back and said like, okay, it's not engine, but it's a lot of work. We have heard absolutely nothing about it since that tweet, other than, hey, it's on our priority list, but it's low priority, which is weird because like every tweet about it has gotten like 80 likes and other suggestions have gone through that got like 2. It's really strange.
So, for me, something I'd like to see would be, I guess, overall, a way for them to combat bots and overcrowding in free to play. I guess maybe they could add like
Hey,
a higher total.
hold on. Let me just stop
You
you
say
there.
QOL?
Let me just stop you there. Pause.
Yeah,
You get what you pay for.
I guess that's true. I do pay for a members account though. I do have that.
And it seems more like the integrity kind of post than QOL. I don't think like big bot updates.
I don't know. My quality of life would improve. I feel like,
Yeah, I did some smithing in free to play. I feel pretty bad for you.
Yeah.
The whole
What's your
the map is just swarming
It's just
with
white
white dots.
Yep.
And they all have like ASDF FG names. So
Is it
It's
bad
bad.
in the like 750 total or whatever?
There's no bots there, but it's like all the legit players go there, so it's extremely overcrowded just
Sure.
because they want to get away from the bots as well. So, and every free to play world has like 1K players on at a time, usually peak hours.
and if your internet goes down, just play on free to play. By the way,
Yeah, I was about to say you smithed on free to play. I assume your internet was down.
yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Was there anything for you, Bront?
Oh, I just said ban the bots.
Oh. All right.
So I don't have a whole lot of quality of life. My quality of life at the minute is pretty good. I'm kind of having fun with the game, so I don't want any more improvements, but there's a couple things. Trouble Brewing needs to have a bank chest rather than a deposit box. It would be really nice to get out like stamina pots. Even though you can't take them in, you could have a couple sips if you're running out of energy. And also it gets annoying when you're trying to start a game and you kind of want to take something out, but you can't, and you need to, or you want to check how many Trouble Brewing tokens, pieces of 8 you have before you start a new game, see if you can buy a new item. You can't do that. You need to tele out and then come back. So change that. Similar, the naval outfit, the top has been broken ever since the game came out. It's a really simple fix to the model. Well, actually, I don't know how simple it is. I'm not an artist, but they need to fix that. That would improve my quality of life by quite a lot.
I actually came up with 2 things that I want, and they are, first of all, when you hide your username with the login thing, it shouldn't show how long your username is.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Good
and
point.
Same
also,
goes for the password.
I want vials to break when you decant pots in your inventory. Well, disappear if you have the barbarian thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I was surprised that didn't happen actually when I first tried it.
I've seen suggestions for like custom decanting. So like if you go up with a bunch of 4s and vials, then it'll change it into a bunch of 1s.
I really want that.
I think that'd be nice. I think that's still like it does make the activities that require staminas easier, but I think it'd be nice.
Well, it doesn't make them easier. You just have to pay a little bit less for the doses, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true. You can always just buy stamina ones that bots make.
They only cost like 10% more.
Yeah. But I'm buying them from bots. I don't like to buy stuff from bots.
Why would you only need 1 dose of stamina?
You
Room
like
gas
at
And the vial
lavas,
breaks,
for example.
you know how to bank it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, great shout.
You could just use your alt to decant it.
Also, like before going into a raid or something, you can super combat and range pot up, and then not have to deposit the 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Can you combine pizzas still?
I don't think that it's. I know you can't do pies. I don't know about pizzas.
I got pretty annoyed with that one. Why can't I combine a pie?
I tried
It's
combining an
literally-
Admiral pie.
It's food laying in a tin. Why can't I combine them?
The model clearly shows that there's not a cut. You can't
Also,
just
that-
put 2 halves together and make it a whole.
You're trying to put the same halves together as well.
The
Yeah,
pie
what
is
if they're
symmetrical.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't know about that, Randy. I don't know, man.
All right. A couple things that I wanted that didn't end up getting through. I want a bank deposit box at Motherlode Mine. I want to be able to mine there and go about my business as I regularly would without having to enter in my bank pin every single time I want to. Well, I guess every session. I don't know. I don't. It's certainly not an activity that should require bank access, and I would like for there to be a bank deposit box at Motherlode Mine. The hourglass at Pyramid Plunder could really do with some getting rid of, but there's really not much quality of life that I have. I mean, a lot of the things that I wanted were addressed, mainly the chat box interruptions in Slayer. So I'm pretty happy with a lot of the things that they did end up doing.
All right, there are two things that I was looking for. Pigtails still clipped through Angler's hat. Not sure why that happens. It's
Wow.
2018.
I think it's kind of cute. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard some people.
Makes
I heard some
sense.
people who really don't want that fixed.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
the alternative is that you just make the player bald whenever they put a hat on. So like your
Oh,
female
yikes.
I
character
like the little pigtails sticking out. You don't
just
like
gets
that,
rid of all
Kbuns?
their hair.
All right, if my character's going to be bald, I prefer the clipping then. Okay, so never mind on that. The other thing would be XP drops with minimap orbs disabled. That'd be a really nice QOL for mining, because I don't like using third-party client XP drops for mining. I feel like that.
Together with hiding the minimap, right, is what people were bringing up.
Yeah.
Or like being able to remove the minimap and the orbs would clip to the right side of the client.
Oh,
That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
That's it for me, though.
Another really important thing would be an account setting to be able to turn on last used IP. Kind of missed that feature because it's impossible to know if your account's compromised. So if we could get that back, that'd be really good.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about this maybe on the last podcast. There was also like a setting you could like if you fucked with some settings on your computer, you'd be able to like set the last logged in to like a custom
yeah.
custom
You could just
thing.
say home or something.
Yeah, and if it didn't show that, you'd know something's fucking up. So that's a really underrated feature that I really need them or would like for them to bring back. But catering to streamers so they don't have to put on a AFK scene for 8 seconds.
I just toggle it and then it's fine. That's most things in RS.
Hey, toggle it. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm sure that they still have the capabilities of doing that. So yeah, it'd be nice to bring that back. All right. Can someone ask the next question real quick? Whatever it is.
Sure.
Do you think there should be another dedicated to quality of life, another month dedicated to quality of life in August or September? Is 1 month really enough?
I don't view the quality of life months as like a month of quality of life. I view it as a break from massive updates.
Yeah.
I feel like adding quality of life stuff during like random updates is completely okay. Like if they find some good stuff they want to add to the game, then that's all right to throw it in with some other updates. I don't see why not. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd like a quality of life a year. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Anything to stall newer updates, I'm pretty okay with. It's hard to argue. Like, not having another quality of life. I don't know. There's so much, like, actual quality of life that could be done in this game. Just not straight buffs, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that another one would be fine because, like, I was told, like, I suggested the scroll bar thing to Wolf, and he said that I was asking him to do something in his spare time, which doesn't make that much sense to me because it was quality of life month. Like, isn't that like what he's supposed to do full time? So if they need more time in order to get to more people's suggestions, then I think that another one wouldn't be a bad idea. we could go without another birdhouse equivalent or whatever for a month.
Is Randy back?
Yeah. I just couldn't read off that question. I was adding in a question at the bottom that I had missed that I wanted to add in. And I'm at Smoke Devil, so I was tight on the reading. So I absolutely think there needs to be another update. I mean, because 1 month certainly, I mean, year in and year out is showing that like 1 month is not enough time for the massive amount of quality of life things to actually go through. Like think of how many quality of life suggestions that were implemented this year. Were kind of in the running and talked about like last year, and they didn't end up getting to it, but finally got around to it. And I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of things that were suggested this year that got a lot of positive feedback, and they didn't get to that. I think that they definitely, yeah, the game is so big and there's so many updates that there needs to be more. I know that there's small little quality of life things here and there, but having a quality of life month every 6 months, have the next one in like August or September, something like that, I think that would be a very good practice to do. Yeah, there needs to be more quality of life months, because the list of quality of life things that they need to do, or that the players would want, I should say, that the players want, is seemingly never ending.
I don't like Quality of Life Month. It's a month of fear for me because it's a lot of things that
they're going to ruin your chompies again.
They're going to ruin my chompies. What's next? First the chompies and the champion scrolls. I don't have much that I like doing in this game, but yeah, it's just kind of a month where I'm not going to use the R word, but certain people try and push kind of straight buffs and things just to make things easier for the sake of it. That's not really the game I enjoy playing. So if I'm being selfish, I'd say that I don't like quality of life month. And if there were some really good suggestions, like things that would actually be small benefits to people's quality of life, or things that are really annoying people, then just address it throughout the year. Just add it into our updates when it comes up. I don't think we need a whole month dedicated, because I feel like that forces people to kind of rack their brains and think, oh, what possible thing should I suggest so that my suggestion can make it into the game? And then that just leads to kind of like low effort. I mean, I know it's a low effort month, but really low effort updates that just don't need to happen.
All right. Where the fuck is this? All right. So another question that came in. Most of the dedicated players to this game are in some way in some kind of clan. And last year, Rock created a Discord to kind of field ideas and piece together things, kind of put like together a skeleton for a clan system. Rock did an excellent job, and there's really no players that seem to be against adding in a clan system at all. Yet the mods never really seem to allow that to become the priority that the players want it to be. What do you think the reason for this is? Why have we not seen more serious discussions about a clan system, and do we really control the game?
Well, it's because they don't want to sit down and like develop the game, like to increase the quality of the game. They just want to like kind of throw out as much fast food as possible so the player base grows. They don't really want to sit down and like improve the game. That's the vibe I'm getting, at least. They just want to build like really like to build hype to suck in more players and just keep doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's definitely nobody's going to be upset about it, but they have to sit down and improve something that isn't going to help player attraction or player retention that much. Because I don't think anyone's quitting the game because there's no clan system. It just would be really, really nice to have. And I think that they know that. But if the opportunity cost is not developing raids 2, then it's going to be a rough sell in order to get a clan system in the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think a clan system just basically isn't sexy. Like an Inferno is sexy, Fossil Island. It gets more people interested. The streamers love it. It's great PR and marketing for the game, which I think is their kind of aim at the minute. I'm not sure their motivations why. Well, obviously they're a business, but I just don't think a clan system to them is something that's going to bring in a lot more people. It's going to cater to us. But I think we sometimes forget what a small proportion of the paying user base we actually are. And I think there's figures out there that saying that the retention rate for clan members is higher than non-clan members. So we're kind of sticking around regardless.
Yeah, I mean, just logically, it would make sense that if you're in a clan and in a community, you're less likely to stop playing. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, I just don't think it makes sense on a business end for them, especially if it is as complicated as they're saying it's going to be.
Yeah.
For them to invest that much dev time into it, dev time which could be used to make big, sexy updates, new islands, or whatever they want to add in. The streamers aren't going to care, so I don't see why Jagex would.
And it's something that they know exactly the level of effort for it because they've done it before. Like it's the exact same thing that got done before when we moved to clan chat and friend chats, as opposed to just a friends chat, which is what we use now.
I haven't been involved in these conversations, but I'm not entirely sure of the things people want from this. If someone that has more insight could expand on that. Like, what do you want from a clan system?
A bigger friends list on the clan account is good. A lot of clans are at capacity a lot of the time, to the point where they have to have like second ones or whatever. I think Totus has gone over 200 before, right?
We're currently at about 240 active members.
Yeah, so like having them all added on the clan account might be something that you would want to do if they could up that number.
Yeah, definitely.
And then more ranks. It would be nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at Rock's clan discussion Discord, and there's 20. Well, there's about 60 or so people that participated in it. People from PVM, PvP, skilling, social, just a lot of different mini games. So pretty much everyone. Rock did a fucking phenomenal job getting in people from all different parts of the community, because every single clan is going to be looking for different things. So I think that he did a great job in feeling things, and I think that given that, they have a great, skeleton for what they can build upon whenever it is time for them to get around to doing it. Hopefully they do eventually end up getting around to it. I've been hopeful for years, but we don't control the game.
And I've heard this like Discord kind of story before, because there's a Skilling Cup one, and I'm in one for a potential Jagex sponsored 10v10 Warring League that Queen and Ayiza started, and like we just haven't heard anything from them in a long time. I'm just kind of, I don't know, I was surprised that I was allowed in at all, but it's kind of funny to be in there. So I don't know, it seems like they're pretty good at setting up Discords and then kind of discounting the updates they were designed for.
Jagex,
with
at the end
Rock,
of the day.
With Rock, like Rock made it very clear that there was not, that it wasn't planned or anything, just that he wanted to gather feedback and ideas for if they ever did do one. Rock didn't say anything like, "Hey, we're thinking on doing it." Like, he made it very clear, like, I am spending I'm just spending a little bit of time just wanting to get an idea for what some of the things people would want are. That's just Rock
TV
being the great mod that he is.
That's different.
Jagex will kind of communicate with us, but at the end of the day, they'll do whatever the fuck they want. They can take our advice or leave it. Personally, I think they should listen to us, obviously, but yeah, if they don't think we're right, they're just not going to listen to us. We don't control the game.
All right. One thing that's been pretty popular on the Q&As and on Reddit has been possibly introducing a tax on staking and or a tax on the GE. Now, whatever number for tax that is, that's just an arbitrary number that could be adjusted very easily. But what would be your thoughts and feelings on taxes to the arena and GE? You think it'd be healthy for the game? Just tell us.
Well, for selfish reasons, I don't want a GE tax. Plan on flipping for a lot of my money for 200 mil all. But for non-selfish reasons, I think it's really good to have a GE tax. I think it could promote actual player-to-player trading again. That'd be really good. Yeah, who interacts with people in this game anymore? Dual arena tax would be good. A lot of real world trade goes on there, so anything
got
to
better
de-incentivize
odds there
that
than the
would be good.
casino.
Yeah, exactly.
GE tax, I'm not such a huge fan on it. I don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion on it, but my gut feeling is no. I know that if Zoidberg was in this podcast, he'd be going nuts at the idea of a GE tax. But with regards to the Duel Arena, I think it's high time that it gets removed from the game. It has zero productive value. And all it does is just facilitate gambling addictions, which transfer over into real life. So I think they need to get rid of the Duel Arena. It's not a good place, and it looks bad for the game.
I feel like if they got rid of the Duel Arena, then there'd be a lot of membership they wouldn't be getting. Because, I mean, there's probably a lot of people that still use it.
If people are playing just for the Duel Arena and they'll quit if the Duel Arena leaves, then I don't want them playing my game.
I mean, me neither, but
Word.
I feel like they'd probably, they'd be impacted by that. But
No, I mean, by that logic, they keep bots around too. Like, a lot of the people at the arena are just Xing bots. Like, I don't know.
oh, well,
It's just a whole host of just negativity that comes from that place. There's nothing positive whatsoever from the Duel Arena.
I feel like there's no reason to add a tax. They should just stop adding raw GP drops into the game, like alkables and statuettes and such.
I'm much more open to there being a tax on staking than GE stuff. When I was doing Bibles, I thought that having a tax was stupid as hell. And I think that maybe I've gained a little bit more wisdom and a different perspective as someone who has completed all the Bibles. I think that I would be okay with their coming out with one and only if you sell the item, they could maybe bring in some kind of little tax. I wouldn't hate it, but I do think that there should absolutely be a tax on staking. As you mentioned before, there's nothing positive that comes out of it, but I don't know if I'm on board with the idea of completely removing it. Don't support that, but I would support a tax.
Yeah, I feel like a tax on the GE is the absolute last option you should ever consider for a gold sink. Maybe if we have a RuneScape Great Depression, I'd be okay with GE tax. But we don't even have inflation in the game. With the numbers they showed, the total gold in the game is lower per player than it was last year. The player base is growing faster than the gold is. So there's no problem.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. If they want to make a change, there needs to be a reason. The reason that people always say is inflation, but I've never seen a compelling argument for why inflation is an existing problem in RuneScape. Just to be clear, I understand inflation in real life.
And if we have inflation, there are hundreds and hundreds of better ways to solve it than to make people stop using the GE, because that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
People will just set up Zybez again. Nobody's going to pay fucking 5% tax.
Or any percent. I mean, it's just dumb, period. And I think it's like mostly brought up in a joking fashion. I don't know. If someone has like a legitimate argument for this, I'd be interested to hear it. But I don't see any evidence of inflation being a problem, so you don't have to combat something that's not a problem.
Yeah, and I don't think inflation is a problem, but I do think the Duel Arena is. So I'm fine with them getting taxed. Fuck it. All right, let's talk about something. Was about to skip over one. So okay, many people watching this are probably aware of our beautiful birds on Apatow being killed at an extremely higher rate than they were just a week ago. So it's kind of talk about that a little bit. Aiza killed some birds as some guy was doing two-tick woodcutting on like a Jagex trolling stream, and as a result, people started doing that just an excessive amount across all worlds for all people that are doing two-tick woodcutting. He's been very apologetic about it, and he said that it was a big mistake. And I tweeted this out, like him like going up there saying he was wrong and saying not to do that. Like I know that he doesn't want people getting ragged. And first, like I think it's great that he apologized for it, because not every JMod would be doing saying, I fucked up, don't do this. But what do you think about him killing the birds, and what do you think about the amount of people that started killing them as well? And how do you think the players should be handled that are doing it?
Well, I don't know. Him doing it in the first place is kind of short-sighted. I don't know. I don't think he thought very much about what he was actually doing. I mean, it's good that he apologized and all, but the damage was done. Fuck, I forgot what else I was gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, the aftermath isn't really his fault. Like, I don't think you could have, like, kind of foretold that. So, I don't think he deserves to be, like, attacked for what he did. But seeing a JMod stream and go and, like, kind of harass a player and laugh about it, that didn't feel too good. That felt pretty bad. Other than that,
sorry.
2.5 tick woodcutting that's pretty fast. You can go do that if you have a problem with it.
Just think he needs to make an example of somebody, like people that are constantly away from there.
Just wait until Monday.
Yeah, no, I think we'll see on Monday if this needs to be another discussion, because if all these people are doing it, guy gained like 5k HP yesterday just killing birds. Like, that's a lot of birds. And if nothing happens to his account, then there's a problem. But there was a Wolf tweet this morning that kind of assured, like, they're going to look into it, but it's Sunday. So yeah, there's Alex Smith L, Intervention, Potty.
Former number one bunch of people. Pick.
I hope that they have repercussions for their ragging. Just like I would hope anyone ragging any activity would get punished, even if it's crystal bowing PvP or ragging Iron Man or whatever. Shit's not good.
So I think Aiza didn't really think about what he was doing. I think it's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. If I'm being brutally honest, I think what caused the ragging the next day was the reaction from Twitter to Aiza killing the bird. I think if people ignored it, it could have easily just got swept under the rug and these guys wouldn't have, because the guys that do it to get a reaction, and they saw the reaction to a user killing them, so they thought, oh brilliant, I'm going to get me some of this.
They must have had such a ragging high yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
The guy,
Whatever caused it, it wasn't a good thing. And
Yeah,
I think that Poddy, especially because he was the big one I saw, and the other guys should definitely get bans of some sort. I do want to say, I think Fraser, the Twitter cop, went a little bit overboard, especially when he was kind of yelling at Wolf. But other than that, I think, yeah, absolutely right. These guys kind of need to get bans because it is against the rules.
especially, I mean, Potty specifically was just like lying on Twitter and making it not a big deal. And his clan leaders can say that he's sorry and won't do it again, but the guy has shown nothing except for please stop tagging me. It's fucking annoying. I think he should get banned.
The lying part, yeah, CML has never and will never lie.
Yeah.
Numbers never lie. Obviously, IESA didn't want the effects of what he did to happen, so I think that they are going to administer punishments to people who were severely harassing players, and I think that they rightfully should. All this stuff with people saying like some players should be permanently banned for it. I certainly don't think that should. I think that that's going a little bit too overboard. With some of the
Only if they have ragging, like if they have ragging
okay,
history,
yeah, I'll
and
say
have
like
been banned
yeah, if
should-
they have been
if it's a-
banned, if they have been banned in the past for ragging, then I have no problem whatsoever with someone being permanently banned if they have ragging offense. But as a first time offense, I don't think anything should be a permanent ban for ragging. 2 weeks would be fine. I'm really not a fan of 2-day bans. I know that they give those out like for botting sometimes. You know, like or bug abuse. You know, like when the that Heroes bug came out, people were banned for 2 days. They played so much and abused it so much that even being banned for 2 days, they still would have saved time if they would have played that entire time. So, you know, I think that if a punishment is ever being handed out, it needs to be one to where the player can actually feel the effects of it. You can go 2 days without fucking RuneScape, and it ain't
It's
nothing.
playing out.
Yeah, like, but 2 weeks. I mean, that at 2 weeks at least sends a little bit of a message. So people that if you hopped around and killed more than 5 different people's birds, I got no problem with you getting a 2-week ban. You knew what the fuck you were doing.
Yeah, or there were people saying, like, I'm specifically hopping to find Oscar. Like, they type that in-game, which shows they have 10 IQ and should get banned.
Yeah, and botting, by the way, it needs to change how they ban people for botting, because it shouldn't be a trade. There are a lot of people who just bot until they get a 2-week, and then they stop. And they're just like, oh, got some progress. So botting needs to be a bigger ban the first time.
Yeah, because Aruna just got 2-weeked, right?
Or just a perm ban. Just perm ban people who bot. Like, you could do that too.
Sprinkle in some perm bans, like random perm bans, and then that'll just put the fear in people and they won't.
An actual real.
There are
send you a
multiple people who botted all of thieving, got 2-weeked, and then just continued playing.
You'd be a bit scared to use AHK though after that, wouldn't you?
I mean, that's illegal. I would never use that.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying anyone here does, but I'm saying, like, if you did get a 2-week, you'd have to be very kind of careful with what you do in game.
Yeah, you don't accidentally bot. Like, you could think, like, maybe this is a bug that I'm abusing, maybe it isn't. But if you fucking turn on Gary's hood, you know what you're doing, and you know that you can get permed for it, you should get permed for it. It's not an accidental thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's my turn. So I didn't watch the live stream, but I saw Jicklum's clip he posted on Twitter, and quite clearly the situation was handled very unprofessionally. When, like, not only when he killed the birds, but when like Sween's reaction to it, he was like, "Oh, report him for player harassment." You know what I mean? Like he was just making a huge joke out of it, and they're all laughing. It was just kind of sad to see.
Why do we need a JMods harassing players stream anyway? What does that accomplish?
I think that
Yeah.
they thought it would be entertaining, and
I mean, they've
like
spawned
trust me,
as-
there are a lot of like I didn't watch the stream, so I don't know what else they did, but like people were entertained. That like
Oh,
that's
yeah,
like
like
their
if they
idea
pop
was
up
to
as an
entertain.
Ellie underneath a corp kill or something, like that's harmless fun. But like ragging someone at Apatol is different.
If people want entertaining streams like that, like live in-game streams, then
Just
just
watch
bring
the
back the bot
Randalicious
busting.
stream.
Bring
Oh,
back the bot busting.
Yeah,
was
dude.
fun.
Oh, bot
That was
bustings
so
were
cool.
good.
Yeah, and then they'd say like, "Oh, it's kind of a bit of work to set up." It's like, well, it's worth it. I don't know. I think people really liked them.
It really raises awareness for anti-bot as well. Even it may not need much more awareness, but it really gets people talking about it.
It's also a really good look for the game as well.
Yep.
Like no negative, no cons really. You know, it's not like they're showing their method for banning people. It's just
No.
this person's getting banned. We took the like you know how great it like
They're
Ronan.
waiting for the loot.
Yeah,
when they died.
Ronan banned some guy, and then there's like 400 mil, and I think Ronan fell off his seat into a pool of Dr. Peppers screaming. It was incredible.
Or there was some, yeah, they like banned him, and then they picked up his. It just said like oak logs, so they thought it was like just a suicide bot, and then it was like 4 million oak logs, like an absolute
Shit like that is
ton of them.
entertaining. Like I want,
no, it's good
I
stuff.
want to see the banks of these people that get banned. Be great.
Also, people in the chat that are kind of defending ragging, fuck off, you're just being an asshole.
All right,
Yeah.
the things that have been so we talked about some of the stuff that's been pretty popular on Reddit, but the thing that I've seen that's been the most popular on Reddit over the last month has been the integrity issue of polls needing to be hidden before they are over. Now, I think like when Archie posted on the old school RS Reddit, I think questions relating to this was the top post 2, maybe 3 weeks in a row, and they haven't really, kind of talked about it too much. What is your opinion on this? Is the poll? Do you think the polling system is up to date with the game and the community and the direction of the game? Are there any changes you want to see to the poll? Just tell us all your full poll opinion.
I've always liked the poll system. I thought that 75% was very generous to the skeptics. It kind of does weed out a lot of updates that aren't. I just don't think 50% would have been enough. I think they hit the nail on the head as early as possible. I do think you need to hide results. It's the same as every other poll in the world. You don't see the result until voting's finished. Well, I may be wrong on that, but at least most of the ones I've seen. So I think they need to do that. And I just think the polling system's fine as it is. I think it gives a good representation of what the people want. We're not dictators. At the end of the day, it is Jagex's choice. And I wish for some more stuff or some very clear-cut stuff, Jagex would kind of take the first step and just kind of do it and not feel like they need to force it through a poll. But I'm pretty happy with the polling in the game at the minute.
I think it's pretty important that the polls are hidden until they're concluded, because it's natural instinct that you're going to vote with the majority because you don't want to feel like an outcast. And also people will just, if they don't know which side to vote with or don't know the question if it doesn't pertain to them, they'll vote with the majority because surely they're correct. So I think it definitely does influence current voting.
It definitely does. Like when they show like elections, it's you can easily see every time they show a new poll, the results just swing to the up, like to which one's leading. It's not good.
Unless you're CNN.
Well, this election was a little bit different, so probably want to exclude that one.
I don't really. I kind of go back and forth with what I want from the polls and what I expect. But one thing that absolutely I don't think anyone should be able to like really counter it at all is whether or not you think the poll results should be hidden or not. When you open up the poll booth, the first thing you see shouldn't be the results. It should be the open form for you to fill that shit out. It that need I
It's
haven't
so funny
even.
that failed a poll.
Oh my! Like there are certain things that definitely do not need to fucking be pulled. What like I understand people wanting to see the results, and I understand people thinking that's an integrity issue that shouldn't be on there at all. I totally get that, but there are certain smaller things that never should have been pulled. Green pixel never should have been pulled. This total level box shouldn't be pulled. The whole displaying for us, how many people have voted and what the percentage is. Like, go to a poll booth right now. Open that bitch up. It will show you the results, not the empty form for you to fill out. That needs to be fixed.
Yeah, and the questions need to be as clear as possible too. That's something they struggle with a lot of the time. We'll ask a question and it will be really hard to tell what they actually mean, and people misunderstand it and vote no or vote yes for the wrong reasons. And don't want to see any more loaded questions on the polls either. That's pretty annoying. It's like,
Give us an
do
example.
you want to? Well, it's hard to come up with now, but they ask something like, "Do
Free to
you
play
want?"
Kbuns was super loaded. I mean, this has been a while ago, but that was the most loaded question I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that was
another
forced.
example is like, "Do you want all of Zaya, but we have no idea what's on it?" What?
Like, I mean, they could have done like, do you
or
want
do you-
revenants? And now here's PvP armors with revenants.
Yeah.
Because you voted for revenants. It's like that same kind of mentality. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
So you have to vote yes based on. You have to value the pros and cons of what you're voting for. It's like, oh, I don't want 3 things in here, but I want
What could
4.
happen?
It's like it's a really bad way to pull. They should be as divided up as they can possibly be.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I saw this on Reddit somewhere, and forgive me for not having the link. They talk about all the time. They have like a backlog of suggestions. Do you think that the team should share their backlog of suggestions with the community so the community could perhaps, have them change around the priority in which these things appear up on the log? I think absolutely they should. Like, I know that there are definitely I think that a lot of times when they talk about like, oh, it's on our list of suggestions, I think a lot of times when they say that, it's like a mental list. But I think that there is a physical list out there with things that they like to get to. Like obviously, they have like their raids to this farming thing and stuff like that, like shit that they have planned that they want to get to. Like, I'd like to see the backlog of like the smaller things, the quality of life things, and all of the other small things like that. The like classism, anything like there are they probably have hundreds of suggestions, and I would love to see their backlog of suggestions just to see if the community could maybe push some of the things that they want on there up a little bit higher. What do you think?
I think that's like not a bad idea. That's giving us a lot of information, and people are going to think of it as a in order what we are going to do list, which they've said in the past. Like, they don't give out really, really, really detailed schedules because they're going to expect people to they're going to be expected to stick to it, and that's not how. Like, that's not realistic. But Like just knowing that your voice is heard, someone saying like here on this spreadsheet is the scroll bar getting toggled, like that would be a very nice feeling to know that your voice was heard, period, and you're not just responded to and then forgotten.
Yeah, even if it's
Because
just
it takes a
buried
lot
on
of
it.
fucking effort to get something on a poll.
Yeah, and I don't know how that would happen, but they need to somehow brainstorm some kind of way of distinguishing who can vote on what. Like, I can't imagine what it must be like to be a PKer and be like 4% of the game's population and just have 96% just disagree to everything you want when it only affects you.
It's got to be
That
terrible.
must suck. That's gotta suck really hard. Like, I know, so I can't imagine what it's like for PKers that have absolutely no voice whatsoever.
I mean,
Yeah.
people are just voting. It's like TB on logout, and it's like, oh, I don't fucking know what that means or the implications of it. Like, if they don't explain in more detail what the implication of a vote is, then you can't expect uninformed voters to make good votes.
Yeah, and another thing, like, let's say there's a poll. Why can't you get XP and PvP on an Iron Man? What's the reason for that?
They don't want people tuning for XP or anything. Like,
Yeah, it would be like best XP per hour to potentially do stuff against like a one defense alt or something.
Okay, well that was besides that. It doesn't matter really, but let's
Iron
say
Man
they
should
poll,
vote on that.
Let's say they poll that if you're not an Iron Man, you shouldn't be allowed to vote. You just shouldn't.
But at
There's
the same
no
time,
reason.
like you interact with other types of players in the game. Like if you just let PvP PKers vote, we'd have Karasi, and that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there's a downside, but there's still a problem. There's still a huge problem.
Yeah, I agree.
With the,
And I think,
go ahead.
sorry, it's just the problem for me with this, only certain people can vote on things, is that each player has unlimited potential of what they're going to do in the future. By not letting them vote on PvP updates is ignoring the fact that they may be planning to do PvP in the future. Maybe they're planning to get really into it, like Mazar did when he was really big into skilling, and then now he's big in rot. Like, I think people should have the choice of what direction they want their game to take in any aspect, because people have strong opinions even if they don't do that thing themselves.
Yeah, but most people who vote, they have strong opinions that are probably very misinformed, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think you can ever truly get rid of uninformed voters, even if you provide the guidance. There's no guarantee they'll read it.
We already have one way to do that. For example, what's the total level requirement to vote?
500?
Yeah, that's a filter. You could also do something else. Let's say to vote on a very big, important PvP poll,
you have to spend an hour in the wilderness or a PvP world in the last month.
Yeah, maybe you have to do something that actually makes you worth anything. Because otherwise your opinion can't really be known to have a value.
Okay, but take the teleblock on logout thing. That you could probably put that in the PvP section and only let people that PK do that. But as I said earlier, like that had big implications for me and my style of play.
Yeah, but then if you feel strongly about it, then you could go spend an hour in the wilderness and then vote.
In fact, you would have already done that because
I'd haven't.
That's how you're getting impacted by that one.
But it just weeds out all the people who don't know anything and are just spamming through the list because they can.
Yeah, like, and it can just be something very small. Like, really, I don't think an hour is unreasonable whatsoever. Like, they can track, like, they have so much information that they're able to track. Like, if you spent an hour in a PvP world, like in a dangerous zone or in the wilderness for an hour over the last 4 weeks, I think that should be the requirement to be able to vote in PvP updates. And I think that most PKers probably would feel about the same with that. I do really understand the unlimited potential in the future, but I don't think that I do not think that my vote should count as much as a PKers when it comes to PKing shit. I don't think that my vote on this Castle Wars stuff should count as much as the people that play Castle Wars. I think that the people that utilize this content on a regular basis should be the ones who obviously have much more knowledge of whatever it is that they're doing. The people with the most information should be the ones that have the most influence on it.
I kind of like the council idea, actually. I don't know where that went, but
Like, people like. I think last year I tweeted out like the player council was a great idea. It really was, and disappointed
es-
that a lot of
especially if the player base voted for the people who were on it,
yeah, absolutely.
and then they could have a bit more power over what happens.
Oh,
the
now we have a democracy going.
EHP Council.
the issue with that just ended up being like so many people thought that it was just going to end up being, you know, streamers or other shit like that, when that certainly wouldn't be the at that point in time that certainly wouldn't have been the case.
If you let your average Joe vote on who they want to be in the council, though, they will vote for whoever's most popular or whoever has the most visibility to them. Like, I wouldn't trust the average Joe to vote for a completionist council because nobody knows who we are.
Yeah.
Except Arptastic, he's a celebrity.
Well, yeah, okay, Arptastic can be the only one. His huge streams.
Yeah, big fan of his streams.
All right.
I just think there needs to be more Jagex talking to clans, people related to it.
Yeah, I was going to say that, actually. They should. I don't know if they talk to the PvPers at all. They probably don't. They probably don't talk. They probably don't talk too much to PVMers either. But they should definitely contact.
God bless, they
people.
do talk to us.
They should make friends in the communities so they know what they actually want. You can't make a product for somebody if you don't know what they want, right?
Yeah, like Jed was, even though he's no longer in Rot, he talked to Rot a lot about Rev Cave's updates. Rot pretty much made that update what it is, to my knowledge. That may just be me having a tinfoil hat theory here, but yeah, rest in peace, Rot Jed. But yeah, they had a big influence on that. Probably for the better.
Anyone got any more on that? Or you want to move on?
On the backlog of suggestions, it'd be nice to have like a list of everything that's been asked on a Q&A, just so it doesn't get re-asked. I
Oh,
think that's
yeah,
one
there
benefit.
there is an actual spreadsheet of like every question that's asked on there, but like something that I think that, you know, like when Archie posts like on Reddit, I think that there should be, you know, like a dozen questions. I absolutely agree with you. There should be like a dozen FAQ questions that they will not talk about. You know, it could be shit. It could just be double XP, summoning, dungeoneering, you know, shit like that, and just have the answer out there. Yeah, there should be like an FAQ thing.
Yeah, it's really annoying when it wastes Q&A time.
Yeah.
That is, you spend like when you watch a Q&A nowadays, half of it, it's like an hour, and maybe 15-20 minutes is just them going through a list of questions that have been asked every day for 3 years.
And nowadays, like 10 minutes of it.
Please get rid of that.
Yeah. Nowadays, like 10 minutes of it is taken up by them showcasing some art or something.
Yeah, and then 15 minutes is Matt K saying, "Oh, I bought some new cool cheese" or something.
Class
He,
Sam.
he hasn't been on any Q&As for a bit. I really like that. What do you guys think of the little fun segment that they do that they've been doing on the Q&As with like the write something down and reveal it on the paper?
I think they need to be a little more creative, not recycle the same idea every Q&A. I don't know. It's nice getting to know the J mods better, though.
I like those
I do
things.
for that.
They should switch up the hosts. Last time they did, it was really cool.
I really liked when Wolf hosted. That was really good.
Wolf is king. All right, so let's talk about the integrity post. It is now over 3 months old, and we have twice been told that we would be updated on it coming this week or next week without that actually coming. What's your opinions on that and this situation in general?
Kind of like the delay because I can keep getting Cosmic Runes, the Mage Arena on my Iron Man. That's nice. Other than that, I don't think it's going to do much in terms of preventing bots. Like I saw Pyzuri posted on Reddit. I mean, not on Reddit, on Twitter. Some dude with 50 mil Hunter XP from Black Chins, and I think he can go out of his way to do a 30-minute quest if he's going to profit like however much money that would be.
But the argument for that was if they do the quest, then they have more time to catch them botting.
That's true, I suppose.
But even that doesn't make sense because how would they catch them botting if they're manually doing the quest?
Weth had a tweet about requiring Dragon Slayer 2 to kill green dragons before, and he said, like, very straight up, he's like, we've added artificial obstacles for bots, and it's never proven to be effective before.
Yeah, because they wouldn't bot before they'd done the requirements, right?
Well, you can even bot the requirements and just like have the account.
I mean, you could bot the requirements, or you could buy a load of accounts that have the requirements done, and you just like you could order hand done Dragon Slayer done accounts, or
yeah, so it would just create a market for leveling accounts to sell, and it would make prayer very bad.
Oh, you're lucky that it's gotten to be very good. Fuck. You don't know
it's
what
around
the dark...
10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I voted no to that just to. I'm clean.
Okay. All right.
Not a good update.
With this, dude, I'm going to make a point of it to talk about this every single podcast until it does actually get talked about, because I think at this point it's a little ridiculous. I totally understand them. You know, they put it out like in November, December. They were pretty busy there putting out the Worldy Rejuvenation 2 beta, Mage Arena 2 beta, and then they had Christmas, and they were off for like an entire week. So I really had no issues after they didn't address it for a month. But once like the end of January hit, it was kind of like, okay, why haven't they talked about the integrity post yet? And then here we are coming at the end of February, and it's like, I don't know. To me, it kind of seems like a joke. I think that absolutely needs to be addressed, and we need to be updated on it. And we certainly don't need to be told at least twice that a post and update is coming on it without us actually getting a post or an update on it. I really want to know what's going on with what I'd say is probably the most critical post that we've had on the entire site in the last 3 months.
So I love integrity decisions. I was a huge fan of the last one, which was quite a while ago now. It was last year, right? So
yeah, it was like April-ish, May maybe.
God,
Right
that was a great
there.
day on Twitter. But I don't want to chastise them for taking their time. I think that's important with things like this. It's very delicate. And I think personally, I prefer no update, hit us with it. Don't let people prepare. Don't let people get in there our foot nights before it gets nuked. But yeah, I think it needs to come quickly because every day there's these integrity problems. It's like every day the game gets a little bit worse. So Yeah, I think they do need to kind of speed up with it, but if they need to take their time, then they need to take their time, and I'd rather they do that and get it right because it's a very delicate situation.
I think for me, the reason why I'm a little disappointed is that I've been told multiple times that an updated post would be out. Like they've said, uh, you know, we're gonna give you an update on it this week or early next week or something like that, and we just not been not gotten those updates. So that's what's been I've not been too happy about.
What was on it this time?
Well, I mean it's just the integrity post that they put out like in November.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was. I can't really
They
say
pretty much said, like, here's some things that we think might be problems.
Is that like Zora or what?
More knights and stuff.
Did they mention knights?
No, but it's really
Mhm.
picked up since that post.
Yeah, Archie brought it up on a Q&A.
Yeah, I remember that.
It just comes down to them being bad at communicating with us again. I think it's just that problem of them setting deadlines for themselves and not meeting them.
I think, I don't know, I have expectations for the integrity thing whenever it does come out. Obviously, it should be done without warning so people can't stock up on whatever's going to increase. But yeah, Knight's out probably, even though I stand to gain a lot from it if I did choose to do it. It's not just because I have 99 that I want it done. Because that's a pretty silly thing to say.
Oh, those people are the worst.
And you know who's one of them? Mr.
Sam.
Jagexiza.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun on Twitter. Like when I talked about my hate for I talk about my hate for Knights, and then someone pops in like, "Oh, bet you did Knights to 200 mil," and it feels so
You did
good.
something worse.
Feels so good to hit them with the Knights were not even a viable method when I did 200 mil. Hop the fuck off, and then they're just gone. Ooh, yes.
Yeah, dumb method promotes cheating. Just get rid of them. Send them to war.
Oh,
Or they just change the order of the pickpocket thing. Just make that the second option.
I think
Other
AJ
clients
raised a
would be
good
able
point
to-
that you shouldn't even be able to pickpocket them because armor has no pockets. So,
And I want to get whatever wages they're getting as knights. Those guys are loaded.
yeah.
That's because they're letting everyone steal from the stalls without
All
doing.
bribes.
Yeah,
It's not a conspiracy.
they're getting in dirty. All right. Anyone else
Right.
have anything to add on for this one? All right. So Game Blast is going on. Did go on. It definitely did go on. I don't know if it's still up, but I don't really have many highlights other than the emergence of Cole and like Ash's mug sold for $3,900.
About that.
They like sold a golden gnome and they raised like over $100,000. That's kind of like the information I have. I didn't watch it. I don't really know too much about the entire event. Did any of you guys watch it? If so, what were some of the highlights of it if you watched it? I don't have an order for this. If you watched it, speak up.
I don't know, I got like 7 in-game pings about it. It's pretty annoying. I didn't watch it though.
Did nobody watch it?
No, I didn't.
nope.
Yeah, my experience of it was getting annoyed at the pings too.
I'm gonna have to go and watch part of it, at least the parts where Cole is featured for sure. For sure.
Oh, I did see the part where they were interviewing Oblivion Jack. I thought that was a really good section. Yeah, really enjoyed that. Jack's a great guy.
Yeah, if that
how'd
goes
that
on
go?
YouTube, I'll definitely watch that part. But the rest of it, I don't know. Just didn't seem. I don't know.
All right.
Yep.
Well, let's move on to something though. I find this a little bit interesting. I saw Drary working on it a couple weeks ago, but it's starting to get a little bit more popularity now, and a lot more features being added on. It's called RuneLight. It is one of those other third-party clients, and it's come out with some controversial fucking things. So it's an open source client that has a variety of really questionable plugins, such as like Zolra and Vorkath helpers. Uh, displays the path for Rogue's Den. It has a raid scouter. Changes the BA caller, and all of the other things that you would expect from a regular third party client.
The other one that you didn't mention, and I mean it's not really relevant for mains, but Herbivore.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yep.
It tells you exactly like it's equivalent, or at least Fraser uses this analogy that like if you just ran through Pyramid Plunder and you knew which door was right every single time, like it's using predictive information that's in the client that isn't available to you, which is just very much cheating.
People have been cheating using third-party clients since OS Buddy was released. It's nothing really that new. I hate this. I wish that Jagex took a huge stance on it back in 2013 and laid down the law. Because, yeah, I just don't think... I think third-party clients are a cancer on the game. I mean, yeah, they've pushed forward the old school client a bit, but it's full of features that I'm not that kind of happy with anyway. So yeah, this is just the inevitable direction that third-party clients take. They're just going to get stronger and stronger until stronger and stronger. They're just going to get more and more OP features until Jagex say no, and then they'll be like, okay, we can't do that, and then they'll start doing other OP stuff. There's PK clients which show exactly how long you're frozen for, and adding like multi-lines to the wilderness and stuff. It's just, yeah, it's cheating, and I'm definitely of the opinion that your achievements mean less if you use these clients than someone that does it with the old school. That's a very like not a great opinion to have, one I hold there.
I think that it definitely oversteps its boundaries. Even if stuff's been removed, it's been shown several times. Like they make something until they're told to remove it, as opposed to questioning whether they should make it in the first place. I think that there's a scale of how OP, and I think that at the very end of it is shift-click configuration, which is available in most settings. I think that's extremely overpowered, completely changes how you interact with the game, and makes the hardest scaling methods in the game much easier. But behind that, like all this questionable stuff with that I've heard about RuneLight, I wouldn't touch it.
It seems pretty nutty, like all the features this one has. It's a little bit much, I think. It's getting a little bit... Third-party clients are getting too strong. I use Conduit personally because I like the screen markers, but otherwise I'd use old school. Like I'm looking at this Corin library plugin, which is... That's insane. It shows you locations of every book that you'd ever want, so... It's just a little bit too much, I think.
Also worth bringing up there right now, you can one-tick prayer with only left clicks on OS Buddy, and that was very expressly prohibited by Jagex a while ago, so that needs changed very soon.
Jagex are in bed with OS Buddy. They're not going to do anything.
I mean, they told them that they can't do that before, so I think it's just like a problem with the Wilderness Altar right now, but that needs to be changed again. But
it's not a problem with the Wilderness Altar. It's a problem with the client.
Well, I think it works. Like the one ticking, you can't do it in your house still, and you haven't been able to for a long time.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, they nerfed it by doing an update themselves.
Yeah, they nerfed it. They
And
self-police.
they haven't done that to the Wildy altar because it wasn't a prayer altar.
Yeah, exactly. So it just needs to be changed again. But right now, you can one-tick prayer with only left clicks, which is really overpowered.
But you shouldn't be able to change like in-game options where like left click is used. Like,
yeah, shift click configuration, I said, is like, yeah, that's definitely the worst thing on any client right now.
it's messing with the games, and I don't want to like say stuff that I don't know much about, but like it's just messing with the games. Kind of, maybe it's not the code, but it's something to do with the game that they're messing with. It's not just overlays and trackers anymore.
Yeah, or even like left click banker. Like it just says bank instead of talk to. People do that for like runesmithing and stuff a lot. I think that's bullshit.
Remember that one Christmas update where they changed the textures of a load of trees and it actually affected people's pathing in game? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely shows that they're doing stuff that's not just like surface level in the client.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
Pretty much.
Okay. I like what Dan said with how it would be, I don't know, downloading this would feel kind of sketchy just because of the amount of sketchy stuff on it. But there is some cool looking stuff on here, like this Discord integration. Tells you how long you've been training a skill and what skill you're training in Discord. That's kind of cool. But I would be kind of scared to use it just because some of this stuff is kind of a little bit over the top.
Yeah, a lot of concerning things on there that I hope that get addressed. Like the raid scouting thing, apparently it like shows what every single room it is that you're gonna get is. So I think it's just being far too generous with displaying information.
Yeah, like raid scouting was only ever a thing because of the client increasing the zoom out, and they should have taken a stance back then. And I've heard PVMers also have that opinion that like you shouldn't be able to scout raids. Or if you can, then it should be doable on a regular client. There shouldn't be things like information you can only get if you have a third-party client. And then this one, you just show up and it automatically tells you every single room, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I use third-party clients for like the fact that you have the high scores and notes, and on the side, the price checker, XP per hour, in-game screen markers, stuff like that. And I'd be pretty pissed if somebody made a fucked up client and banned them. Repeats this whole AHK fiasco.
Yeah.
Just
because if pressed to get rid of one,
keep it normal. Keep it below, like, don't make any insane
Needs to be
plugins.
tolerable. You know, like
Yeah. I like the guy who's developing it, but I think he's definitely, well, he's just doing a very thing.
It's open source. Like there are other people
line.
putting it in as well.
Yeah. I mean, he's known for pushing boundaries, but I wish he would not risk getting them banned completely, because that would suck really bad. Because the regular client is not good. I don't care what anyone says. It's trash.
Yeah, and what they've effectively done is just outsourced work that they want done to their client to third parties, which, I mean, they can choose to do or not do, and they definitely choose to do by allowing them to exist.
Yeah, I don't want to have a bunch of. I don't want to download a screen marketer program and have a tab open to price check and have a tab open for, like, come on.
I mean, XP per hour doesn't exist in any way, shape, or form.
As well,
you have to fucking write down.
You would never be able to know your XP per hour live.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's not that bad. RS Buddy tracker. Actually, that's the thing though. Without RS Buddy, then that gets rid of like the tracker for the GE, and every other GE tracker uses RS Buddy's data.
I mean, they could.
Old school's one of that is terrible. Like, they need to, if they are ever going to, which for the record, I don't think they're ever going to ban third-party clients, but
I
they
think
do need to step their shit up if they are
I
going
think
to.
they could. They could definitely ban individual ones. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
It won't happen to OSB, though.
I mean, well, they banned a fancy graphic client that
Yeah,
was supposed to come
exactly.
out. They just said it's going to get picked up by our bot software. Don't use it.
Yep.
Interesting shit. Sorry. We'd like to take a moment to congratulate Ginge, who's going to be getting 4 200 mils this weekend. He's been working on this for like 4 years. So fishing, strength, agility, and magic. And after that, like he's gonna be retiring. So like we have had open applications all month for becoming a Hexis Gen to replace him as well. So he is riding off into the sunset, happy with the goals being achieved that he's got. What will your fondest memories of Ginge be?
I'm gonna miss his videos because, like, they taught me how to snowfish. So I owe my 200 mil fishing to Gingbino.
Man, I'm gonna miss him. Like he's one of the 2013ers, and there's not a whole lot of us left. So, I mean, I've known Jens for 4.5 years, and I mean, it'd be really hard to say like if I could pick one or two or anything like that. I mean, I just really love his personality, and I'm gonna miss the shit out of him.
I think I don't know. I never really got to know him since I'm so new. But looking back at his YouTube videos, they really helped guide my play. I think they're really good archive for content. Um, he's like one of the few people that I actually like look up to in the game. So I guess not having that role model around will be kind of sad. Feels like I missed the glory days of skilling, but I'll make do with what I have now.
So I never really got to personally know the guy, but out of the various kind of RuneScape communities I've been a part of, there's always been a good degree of respect for Ginge, for Ging. I still can't pronounce his name.
Which one do you like to call it? Like if here we go. Question for you. As an outsider, yes. When you read his name, does the word Ginge or Ging come to mind?
For me, it's Gingbino.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry, Randy.
Childish Gingbino.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, I always enjoyed his podcast when he was on the podcast, which wasn't too often, and also his videos and just his general kind of mantra on the game. As you can probably tell by some of my opinions, they're pretty closely aligned. So yeah, I will kind of miss his presence in the high level community, even if I never got to talk to him myself.
I think Ging has been a very good presence in the community. If you look at community involvement stuff, doing fantasy EHP is always a big event. And then that Slayer spreadsheet, I think, has helped so many people in so many different ways. Really good stuff. That and the unexpected 250 anime memes when you wake up every morning, every once in a while, or every
Twice.
once in a while. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Go
going
ahead.
to be a pretty big hole left. And guess what I'll miss the most is just somebody who goes against the grain when it comes to the game updates and stuff. It's going to be, yeah.
There's not many of his kind left, and he will be very sadly missed. Let everyone who's watching the podcast. Next one will be in 2 weeks, and that's there's shit actually happening now, so it's gonna be every 2 weeks now. And I think I probably said that last time, but trust me, this time it will be for sure. Next podcast, planning it to be I guess what is that like? I don't have a calendar up. February or March 10th. Look right around then for the next podcast. On our next podcast, we will have Ginge will no longer be with us, so there'll be a new Jen around. So we'll it'll have been announced on Twitter and everything like that beforehand. But for those of you who only tune in for the podcast, it's gonna be the first that you get to hear of our whoever it is that we do pick. Team and I are gonna be sitting down this week and making a decision with how it is that we're gonna proceed moving forward. I'm very excited. I haven't really had the chance to read the apps. I read through them all one time, but it's not enough. It's gonna be a good ass discussion. We're looking at about 40, 44 hours from now or so ish. Somewhere around there is when the final discussions take place. So big things are coming in Hexis. Hey, by the way, our merch store is like 20 to 30% off right now for the weekend. Hop on that shit. Follow me on Twitter at RandalicioursRS. Follow us on Twitter as well at Hexis. There'll be a link in the description of this video with topics, suggestions for our next podcast. I haven't been doing that recently, but I'm back on that shit. So that's it. See you guys. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.